Hi, my name is Jason and I'm the director of Hard Livings. Firstly, I'd like to thank you for viewing this video. I find it highly admirable that there are people in this world willing to sponsor independent projects. You know, projects they find interesting or projects they think could manifest a change in the world. I think of these people as free spirits, you know, willing to spit in the face of convention. Regarding the film, Hard Livings is a tale about twin gangster brothers. Twin brothers who would start the biggest gang that South Africa, or indeed Africa, has ever seen. We are going to take you to a world that most people never get a chance to see, and most people cannot even comprehend. It's a world that has caused many deaths in the past, and one that is still causing deaths to this day. What we'd like to find out is what exactly caused the twin brothers to become the way they were, so we can look for solutions for the future. But beyond all the social issues, it's just an absolutely unique and extraordinary story, and one that has been covered by other filmmakers in the past. Firstly, one has Ross Kemp on gangs, who did the whole prison number South African prison gang story, something which we will cover in our documentary. Then there is also Dan Reed's Cape of Fear. Now arguably, one can say that these documentaries focused more on how it is now. They weren't really looking at the genesis, which is what we intend to do. Okay? I think it was Dr. Carl Sagan who said that one has to understand the past to understand the present. And that's what we intend to do with this documentary. So please come on board on our journey. By helping us, you would become an integral part of our team. And you could help us make a really entertaining, mind-blowing documentary, but you can also help out that kid. You know, the kid sitting in the slum or sitting in the township, and he's watching our film, and all around him there's this culture of gangsterism, you know, but he's watching our film and he's thinking to himself, you know what, I don't want to follow that path. I don't want to be a gangster. You know, I want to make a movie, or I want to go to university. Okay, help that kid out by helping us. Okay, so thank you again for listening, and here are a few words from our cinematographer, Clark Howell. Thanks.
Well, I first met Jason Staggy when I went to Prague. We had both attended the same film school, although not at the same time. He was just kind of living in the city, and I got to know him, and we became good friends and talked a lot. And he mentioned, you know, I first heard of, you know, he first like kind of told me stories, you know, about his past and like life in Cape Town, and kind of mentioned briefly like, you know, these two uncles he had that started this gang down there, but it was, you know, sort of vague. And you know, we talked like one time about you know, like he told me like, you know, watching one of his uncles you know, get murdered on television while the cops stood by, or anything like that. And you know, like intrigued me slightly. And he left Prague you know, to go work on that story, to go live in the slums and write about it, eventually into, you know, like a feature film. And then about, I don't know, you know, a while ago he contacted me and said he's making this documentary about it beforehand, and asked me if I wanted to be the cinematographer. And I was like, yeah, sure, you know, we've worked together. And then he sent me the details about the story, and it was just like, you know, it was like really amazing overall. You know, between actually, you know, finding out the story of the Hard Livings and Rashad and Rashid Staggy, his two uncles, and kind of like starting this gang in Manenberg in the Cape Flats. You know, it was like a story you can't really find anywhere else, like you know, the story the world makes of itself or something like that. And so, you know, I became more interested, more attracted to doing the project. Yeah, the reason I'm interested in this and want to do it, you know, despite like it's not like they say, you know, they say with documentaries, like the best documentary you could ever make is in your own backyard. And this documentary, it's not in my backyard, but it is in Jason's backyard. He grew up in Cape Town, and he knows the people there, and he knows how to shoot this documentary. You know, from my perspective, you know, I've always been attracted to, you know, certain worlds that like envelop people, and there's all sorts of pockets, all sorts of different examples, you know, spread across the entire globe. And this is definitely, you know, this gang, the Hard Livings, and Jason's two uncles, and sort of the world surrounding it in the Cape Flats. You know, it's definitely unto itself, and it, you know, like certain worlds create certain people, and I think it's interesting to explore those characters and explore those situations, like especially with like a fresh perspective. For mine, like having not knowing about it until recently, not growing up with it. So like looking on it with a fresh view, there's something, there was a line one of Jason's uncles said in an older BBC documentary that was something like, I'm not a cruel man. It's the world that makes me cruel. I think that's something very interesting and worth exploring.